What's going on, everybody? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. I'm glad to be here with you this morning. And if you're new, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back. Looking forward to another session with you all. What a smile I have on my face. So much to talk about. We're going to really take a strong look at the FX market this morning. Just checking in 1 second right here and just taking note of all the names and comments here this morning, as I like to do every day. And, if you're taking the time to comment, I'm taking the time to read it. That's for sure. So as we get started here today, if you're here right now, you got some coffee in your hand or some tea, go ahead, smash that like button as we're going to get started. I have here a chart of the DXY, the US dollar index. That's because it's a dollar story, right? We need to check in what's going on here with the dollar. That's what I want to do this morning now that we've had a couple of sessions out of the way ever since the FOMC meeting minutes. We've passed through Asia and London, and really, more or less, we're right back where we started, right? So let's take a look. I was looking at this chart this morning. This is from Kimball Charting Solutions. I always enjoy Kimball Charting. I've never actually traded off them. One of their charts, but I have always, anytime I've pulled up their charts, enjoyed viewing them. You can check them out at kimballchartingsolutions.com. Now look over here. Let me go ahead and adjust my screen for one moment. I'm looking over here at this support over here, and then you can see that big resistance over here. Again, that became support. And here we are again right now in that general area. And now we're also seeing this trend line. Now, what they're saying is in this chart, kind of cool. They're saying, will the world no longer believe, it's all about trust, in the US dollar if support breaks, support and trend line at number 2. So we're at a pretty important juncture down over here. If this trend line, this is much better than what I have over here. I've been following, because I'm a swing trader. I'm looking at what's going on immediately in front of me. So let me zoom out 1 minute. I'll go to the 3-day with you really quick. JMC, glad to see you. So I'm looking over here at the past 9 years, right? I'm a swing trader. This is zooming out for me by far, and this is where I'm focused, rightfully so. And I'm going to remain focused over here. Nevertheless, I always want to know what's going on. I always want to know what's going on around me. And more importantly, I want to know what's going on the other side of the trade so I could watch out for where I'm possibly wrong. Now, in my world, what I'm looking at over here after the break of this important technical trend line over here, I'm looking right now that, well, you know, we haven't really even retested this area. That's entirely a possibility. And if that happens, of course, I continue to look to sell any upticks into resistance. Step back over here and really pull out. This is going back 22 years, right? And this is important. That's an important level right here that we should all be watching. And when I said this is a better line, look at this is clean, right? Is this possible? Well, either way, I'm going to pay attention to it. How about that? All right. So here we are today. Let's go back to where we go. Oh, by the way, US and China, interestingly enough, are back in the headlines as they're talking about now reviewing the phase 1 trade deal. That just seems like, to me, probably, what is that? That seems to me like, I don't know, November 2020 posturing. Nothing more. China has met none of their obligations from the last trade deal. So where are we at today? So I do notice over here, we've taken out the low over here. We've taken out the low and are now trading up. That's pretty bullish price action we got going on this morning, right? We got a lot of people resuming down over here, and then the market is taking it back up. This all happened. The DXY was trading down a little bit this morning. It's just over the last hour, it started ticking up a little bit. We had jobless claims numbers, which there was an increase in claims by a little bit. There was nothing in the numbers even worth reporting, so we're not really going to get into that. I think it's more important what's going to happen going forward, whether or not Trump's executive orders are going to be questioned, whether or not those people are going to actually get help, and whether or not both sides of the aisle are going to come together and come to some type of compromise and maybe even help the American people. The Federal Reserve was very clear that, yeah, we're seeing the S&P, also the ECB, I'll talk about that in a second. The Fed was really clear that, yeah, the S&P is doing really well, but smaller businesses obviously are not. That's a trend so far that looks like that's going to continue, which is going to put pressure on the people. And then, Brandon, then, whatchamacallit, the ECB also noted that, the rebound that we're seeing is not really indicative of the economy. That's because it's simply the markets are trading off liquidity. We all know that. Let's check in what's going on over here. So the DXY right now by this morning, we don't really have much to go off of. Someone mentioned in a comment, that if you clone this over here, bring this down, let's do this over here. I didn't get a chance to do that. I'm going to bring it down. Yep, that makes a lot of sense. My eyes, when I clone this, I was focusing right over here on that channel. You see that? And what they were telling, Jordan, check it out, that we're coming in right into that resistance right over there. Sure enough, that's a helpful guide. That was one of the main reasons that I wanted to do this in the first place. I figured that the more I go ahead and share whatever knowledge I have with all of you, build you up, then that would be like a loop. You guys would all then be able to go ahead and share insight with me. That's a perfect example of that happening right there. So I'm going to leave that on the chart. That was a nice tip. I hope you're watching, whoever left that comment on yesterday afternoon's video on YouTube. I do read all the comments. Obviously, I can't respond to them all, but I do read them all. So thanks for all those who do that. No, Ken, it's not black and white like that whatsoever. It's not black and white like that whatsoever. I really want to get into the FX. But the reason I say that, Ken, go back into from the end of December of this past year to the beginning of January through the beginning of March. You saw the U.S. dollar rising, rising pretty strongly. You also saw gold rising strongly in that period. Bitcoin is decoupling. If we go into any type of liquidity crisis, you will see at that point everything going towards a correlation of 1. We're not in a liquidity crisis right now. The dollar could be rising. Bitcoin's going to do its thing. Bitcoin is trading within its 4-year cycle. Now, that's not going to really get interesting to 2021, right? We're expecting throughout the rest of this year, Bitcoin rising up towards 17,000, maybe even towards all-time highs. There was a really interesting thread. Before I go there, so I could get this off my screen, this is really cool. This is Bitcoin's market cap right now at Bitcoin trading at $12,000. And you notice over here, for example, here's Facebook's market cap, right? Here's Apple's market cap of Bitcoin was trading at $100,000. It's going to be a while before Bitcoin challenges gold. I'm not looking for that to happen. It's not even worth discussing right now, but is it possible at the end of this cycle, 2021, Bitcoin surpasses Apple's, market cap over here? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I did want to show you this. So let me show you this, by the way. If you're not following me on Twitter and you want to get some really good updates, the things that I like are pretty interesting. So what did I want to share with you? It was about what? I was talking about the DXY. I was talking about the dollar. Come with me. I lost it. All right. Either way, let me come back. I just want to check really quick in case I could come back to it. All right. Either which way. If it comes back to me, I'll come back to it. Yeah, we're going to be looking at all FX. Darn it. We're going to be looking at all FX in just a minute. I don't pay attention to gaps whatsoever, and neither should you. Good morning. Oh, have you seen the new? No, I haven't. All right. Boom. All right. Governments tax Bitcoin right now. Yeah, governments tax Bitcoin right now, right? You have to fill out on your IRS whether or not you hold any cryptocurrency. If you hold it over a year, you're only paying capital gains on it. But all income is taxed. So anyone who's investing in crypto or Bitcoin thinking that that's tax-free, no. All income needs to be reported. By the way, I have some nice matcha this morning. Not that this podcast is sponsored by matcha, ceremony grade tea, but if it were, I would love it. I love the matcha. Speaking of which, though, BlockFi is something that I definitely have a link to in the description. It's where I buy all my crypto, all my Bitcoin the past 6 weeks, 7 weeks or so, and is my best experience. They just raised another round, a C round of $50 million. They had Morgan Creek's Anthony Papalano added to the board. Winklevoss Capital is also an investor in this. They've now gone through 3 rounds. This is going to be in my opinion, one of the biggest companies that comes out of the crypto space in the future. Why they're not a bank, they brand themselves as wealth management. It is basically, in my opinion, what the future banking of crypto is going to look like. Boom. Is it better than Gemini? For trading, Gemini is probably better. I use BlockFi for buying. It's the easiest experience I know of purchasing Bitcoin. You just go ahead, send a same day wire, and it posts to the account a couple of hours later. You go ahead and buy it. It's smooth and easy, but they pay interest of 6% on the Bitcoin you're holding up until you own 5 Bitcoin. Sipping your mate. That's right. And that's what I wanted to say. They use Gemini's cold storage. BlockFi, again, Winklevoss Capital is an investor. They use Gemini's cold storage for their Bitcoin. Will, what's going on? Glad to see you this morning. Let's take a look at the equity markets now. We're about 15 minutes to the U.S. markets opening. We're seeing the dollar continue its move as New York stepped back into the realm, back into the ring. New York is taking back that dollar strength that they took off with yesterday afternoon, which was retraced during Asia and London. Let's see S&P over here. We're watching this area of support down over here at 33.40, 33.39. It might even be a little lower. By the way, look, I'm going to push this back up, but if I put this down to where these little wicks were, then you got it coinciding probably with that support over there. This is just the midway level. This is a line we're using. This is the support if we trade as far as low as this that we really, really, really want to lean into. Remember, the equity markets are not indicative of the economy, right? Let's see what the Dow is doing this morning over here. This broke this little bit of support over there. I'm going to change that to resistance. That's being retested right now. If that were to start making lower lows, then I would expect a further pullback, perhaps into the 27.08 area. Let me go ahead and mark that up. Ooh, we got a little bit of a flow today compared to yesterday. That was my first day back. I knew it was going to take me a couple of days to get back into it, but I'm starting to feel it. Nasdaq tech's looking a little bit better coming into this local support over here, and now starting to resume off that possibly. You've got some bigger, stronger support down over here at 11.085. All right, thanks, Joe. I'm feeling it. I'm liking it. I can't wait to get into the FX this morning to see what's going on. Crypto held up pretty well, by the way. Considering what we saw last today, crypto really wasn't phased by that. Gold has been sporadic, jumpy over here, but still holding its 1929 support level. If it loses 1929, right? If it loses that support, what are we looking at next? I think we're looking at somewhere around 1880 to perhaps even down towards, I don't know, or in that area. I don't know if we test that wick low or not. If we lose that, we got some pretty strong support coming in the 1800 area, 1800 towards right over here at 1750. That's an area. I don't think we lose that at all. But by the way, this looks really bullish to me. Yeah, people are like, oh, we're making lower highs. Yeah, so. But we're not making lower lows. That was brought up in the Telegram group yesterday. Some really nice insight being shared there about the miners and just spot price in general. This to me looks like we are what? Consolidating after a big move up. That's not parabolic, by the way. That's not parabolic. That's just a move up. Let's look over here. Actually, I think this was a tweet, and it talked about Paul, right? Paul, right here. Fundamentals might be good for the first third or 50% of 60% of a move, but the last third of a great bull market is typically a blow off top. If you're not familiar with what that looks like, Bitcoin went in just a couple of weeks from $10,000 to $20,000 in December of 2017. That's a blow off top where the mania runs wild and prices go parabolic. One of my favorites, Paul Tudor Jones. This is not parabolic. That's just a leg up. All right. Murray, what's up, brother? Glad to see you here this morning. Silver may be parabolic. That looks a little bit actually healthier to me so far than gold, but that looks to me pretty similar. Listen, I have no problem with being wrong. That's part of the game. Yeah, we're gonna look at all FX really closely. Just hang out one more minute, and we're gonna really get into that. Yeah, Ken, you just got to do some research about depending on where you live and what's going on in your situation, about where you could trade with what and where. Bum, 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 bum. All right. But silver, I wanted to talk about it over here, right? Big move up. I mean, Silver has come up way higher than I expected. By the way, gold's trading at 1930. There's not many people who thought going back into even a month ago that gold would be trading at 2000 or 1930. So gold seems to me, did it come a little bit far? No. The Fed just printed $4 trillion, right? Did it come a little bit far? No. Is it appropriately priced? Did you see yesterday that the Bank of Nova Scotia, I might be wrong on the bank's name, another bank was just fined, over $100 million for manipulating the price of gold. The price of precious metals are manipulated, continue to be manipulated, have been manipulated until one day it gets away from everyone. By the way, so looking at gold and silver over here, this looks pretty healthy to me. Silver looks really healthy to me. That was a big move up. And then you saw that volatility. This is where we're like, this is the chance to buy. Came up. It looks good now. It's consolidating. What do I think is going to happen? The more it consolidates right now, the healthier for the market. All right. Things don't go straight up. Things don't go straight down. What is going on, BC? Glad to see you here this morning. Glad to see you. Is it a bit of risk off, or is it, Jason, it's a great question. We're going to get into FX right now. We'll come back to crypto later. We'll start with the euro US dollar. Before we do, let's see what's going on here. By the way, DXY, thanks. I don't know who it was. I'm going to search for that YouTube comment, let them know we spoke about it, that I did go ahead and clone that line and put it in, and it seems to be providing resistance right now. Watch that for providing resistance. Are we seeing risk off in the market? I don't think we're seeing risk off in the market. I think that we're going to look at FX right now, but I'm looking at Japanese yen pairs and the New Zealand dollar. Someone was saying the New Zealand dollar was seeing a bit of a move. That's coming down into support over there. I mean, I'm trained. When I see markets coming off into support, that's when I notice them. Why the New Zealand dollar is coming off, I don't know. I'm just going to look at the technicals. I'm getting back into my flow. I'm going to be looking at all the charts, figure out what's going on, but I'm not really seeing, as I look over here, the Japanese yen is not really, which is risk off. I'm not really seeing it doing much damage elsewhere. So I don't know that that's risk off. Something's going on over here, over New Zealand dollar and Australian dollar also. To a lesser extent, I'm not sure what that is. We're going to take a look at it all right now. Let's go through them. If you want to go through the FX pairs right now, or you're excited that I'm going to, go ahead and smash that like button. Get me a little bit stoked here, a little bit jumped to go do this. Mohammed, blessings, my brother. Let me take a sip of tea before we get in there. We just went over gold. Ooh, I'm gonna really highlight that for a second. That's some good insight over there. Observe the markets that stand up despite a strong U.S. dollar, and gold. Look what silver's doing. Look what gold's doing. Crypto's hanging in there. Let's take a look at it all. But I don't know that this is a strong dollar. Kips, this is not directed at you whatsoever. I don't know that this is this is not directed at you sincerely. I don't know that this is a strong dollar. I'm looking at this huge dollar dump. This is just what? A hiccup, right? So just like this was, and just like that was. So, I see a lot of people. This is why this morning I was looking to see I always want to know if I'm wrong and where I'm wrong. And I noticed a lot of people calling a bottom in the dollar. All right, let me see why. What's going on? It's too soon for me to call a bottom. It's really too soon for me to even consider calling a bottom. I'm right now. I'm looking for retraces into resistance and looking to sell that. Boom, 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 boom. All right, let's go in. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Jimmy. Jimmy's highlighting that the New Zealand central bank had a dovish policy, contributing to the weakness. Stefan, hold on. I'm getting into the FX over here. I got a good flow going this morning, so I'm really excited for it. Jordan, I just made my first 3 true swing trades where I kept the rules and set risk reward, and I'm watching the trades to profit more. Thank you. I have sat and watched for long. Feels great. Awesome to hear. I love that. Dr. Loco, I'm a student. I don't have a lot of money to invest. So far, I bought nice 0.1 Bitcoin, which is all I could afford, but I would like to dollar cost average buy Bitcoin. Would you recommend buying some more? 100%, at least through December of this year, at least through $20,000. I would recommend dollar cost averaging. Dr. Loco, you might also want to continue saving and you, instead of dollar cost averaging, which right now is a great price, right? Under $15,000 dollar cost average, but you might want to wait for those 30% pullbacks, and that's when you might want to make your purchases, especially the first 2 or 3 30% pullbacks. That's going to be a great opportunity. Don't say only 0.1 Bitcoin. That's a great start. Really good job. Was the guy who's debating Lynn, right, with his trend lines. So I'm kind of missing difference in trend lines. Best David, I'm not sure who's debating Lynn about with trend lines. If you have any more information, definitely check it out. Is copper still continuing to move? I'm sorry, I'm enjoying reading your comments. Look at... Yeah, but by the way, we don't have trolls in this community. We don't have trolls in this community, and the spammers and the trolls, you just get ignored, just to let you know. Because you stick out like a sore thumb this morning. All right. So that's all. I'm sorry your mother didn't give you any attention. You're not going to get it here. All right. Let's go. Let's start here with the Euro US dollar. All right. Oh, sorry. I'm getting ready here. Copper. That's what I was waiting on. Someone asked about copper. Let's check it out right here. So we noticed that copper was breaking $3. It's a big level over here. You could see it. Is that the best? Is that the best level I put in there? Probably not. Look where the mouse is right now. It's even better. Nevertheless, that's neither here nor there. We're on the verge of breaking above a really important technical level on copper. This is really seeing, someone brought this up in the live stream about a week or so ago. They were saying copper's getting ready to make a move. They were dead on it. Look at that bull flag, right? And then over here, what happened is China came in and they started their infrastructure stimulus. Copper bid on that. Look at that beautiful. This is our textbook conquering the markets right here. Breakout, retest, resumption. That would be the entry. I'm not trading copper, but I don't care. It's on the charts. I want to look at it. Right now, what's coming up? Testing that important resistance level. Any resumption out of here looks like a fantastic entry once again on copper. To me, it looks hot. It looks good. We'll keep watching it. For this to be a failed breakdown, what would need to happen, right? Let's look over here. You got really to trade below, let's call it $2.78. There, it looks uber bullish. Palladium also. Let's take a look at Palladium before we get started over here. Palladium is, you can see gold and silver have really, by the way, go back. And this is when Palladium was really on an enormous run over here. Gold and silver were not, right? This was going ballistic. And what has happened since? Forget this. This is the dollar crisis. Everything did this. What's happened since? You could see that Palladium's lagging a little bit. Gold and silver are a little bit overdone. Might you see some rotation into the lagger right now? This looks pretty bullish over here as it's consolidating, right? It's not yet breaking out. You got to be patient. You got to wait for the signal, but watch what's happening over there. This is a really nice consolidation pattern that's occurring right now on Palladium. A breakout to the upside that could set off some, first we'd be looking at perhaps taking out right over there, 23.91. A break above there could take us to test the high back of last year. So Palladium could actually be in the next few months something really to watch. This is getting close right now as the consolidation is coming down to a breaking point for that breakout. So now's the time to be patient, but really, really be watching. Yeah, I'm under. But by the way, I'm under the impression that either which way, we're going to see a lot more printing. We're going to see a lot more stimulus. It's coming because they believe they could print their way out of this. It's really their only tool left. A lot of people are suffering. They're going to need help. Hopefully, they start doing the right things for the people, right? Let's take a look. We're going to go into FX now. I'm going to go pretty hard and fast. Looking about the U.S. equity markets are opening right now, so I'll come back and check in on them right now. Sorry for my dispersedness, but I need to know what's going on over here. But people looking to buy, you got to be patient. This for me, why I'm looking for equity markets definitely to continue to rise. If you're looking to enter into the equity markets, you want to do it where you have a strong risk to reward. Nothing's exciting here right now on the S&P. Even if we resume out of here and come back and get back into this resistance, that's still not a trade that I want to be involved in. All right, where the consistent money maker is FX. Let's take a look at what's going on. I noticed right after our last hold of the trend line, this trend line all of you are familiar with, that goes back all the way to 2008. That's a big deal, a big breakout over here. It's almost a hot debate whether or not the dollar has bottomed, whether or not the dollar is going to continue to weaker much further. Some people are really emotional about it, talking about like the dollar's. I didn't hear one person ever talking about the dollar going to zero. If we're talking about the dollar weakening, right? We're first of all, we're swing traders. We're just looking what's directly in front of us, right? 3 months out is way too far for us. But, the dollar tends to move in cycles, about 7-year cycles. We're not saying this is the end of the dollar. We're saying right now the dollar is weakening. That's what's happening, right? It doesn't matter. All that matters is what's happening on the charts. So that's what we're going to look at this morning, is what is happening on the charts. By the way, this little line over there, you notice that was my parabolic line. As long as we were above that, I was very bullish on the euro. I even took the long down here though, right? That's even because we held this. This was a more important trend line. It carries more weight. But notice that held as resistance on the way up. It's not important. I'm just making an observation. Where are we right now? We're coming into some pretty good local support over here. If we resume off of that, I'm interested in taking a long over here on the euro US dollar. By the way, for some context, we also are into some resistance, right? We're into some resistance right there. So if this area holds and we resume off that, yeah, that's something that I am interested in. We are in a very strong uptrend. We just held our very long breakout trend line. We then made a higher high than the last swing high, right? So far it's failed, but it's coming into local support. If that resumes off, uber bullish for me. I'm interested in that. So that's good. Let me start flagging some things for myself later. It's Thursday, plenty of opportunity here going in overnight. This is the Australian dollar, US dollar, and I have to say that looks pretty bullish to me as well. I'm not going to draw this in, but just like a visual guide, right? If we resume off of here, I'm looking over there. That's still pretty bullish. Do I like it better coming into the stronger support down over here? Yep. If we lose that support, Would I then be looking for a deeper pullback? Yeah, I would be looking for a pullback at least into this area over here of 0.6972. Let me add that in. So the euro right now is in play for me. The Australian dollar, US dollar, just observing, not attractive to me right now. Australian dollar, Canadian. Let me do the majors first. Let me go through the majors first. Then I'll get into some crosses. Pound, US dollar. This is a little bit area of resistance I have above my head, so I don't really like that so much. It's a pretty big level. A lot of supply up there, but this is also very bullish, right? A lot of people, I don't imagine how people are calling for a turn in the dollar. That seems a little preemptive to me. That looks pretty bullish to me so far. That's all I could say. I could tell by my voice and the hesitation, there's nothing attractive going on over there. But nevertheless, the dollar structurally looks pretty good. Let me look at the carnage that happened on the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Let's see if we're going to be seeing a further pullback over here. I mean, you're coming into support. This is an area to look to attack. If this holds, that's attractive to me. If this support holds, that becomes interesting. This looks like a bull flag to me, right? That looks interesting to me. That looks very, very promising. If we lose that, right, is this structurally then becoming negative? No. You got some also strong support down over here at 0.6387. Everything continues to look pretty solid here. And it's the dollar that continues to be looking on the back foot. So be aware, this was just nothing so far more than a small retrace. Let's look at what's going on with the US dollar, Canadian dollar. And nothing at all. I'm going to kind of just bypass this. This looks dirty to me. I don't really like it. I have to clean up these charts. It looks like a mess. So let me go ahead and do that on my own time and not take up yours doing that. Nothing going on over there. And the Australian dollar, US dollar, we already looked at that. All right. Let's take a look at what's going on with some Japanese yen pairs. We'll start with the US dollar, Japanese yen. Brandon. Yeah, we'll get into this in the crosses in 1 second. I'll start with that first, and then, all right, good reminder, Mohammed. That's what I was looking for. Something was telling me, go look at the comments. Go look at the comments. There it is. I'll be more mindful of that. Thank you for the reminder. No, Brandon. Look, first of all, that's good. You always want to be humble. You always want to be humble, and you always want to have that that mindset that. That's a strong mindset. That's not like a false sense of humility, but it's way better than being overconfident. Overconfident will get you killed, right? Overconfident will get you killed. Australian dollar, US dollar looks like the equity market. Really good observation over there. And we're seeing the markets just mixed. Not too much going on. Of course. What's going on, Andreas? All right, let's go in. We're going to start here. Before I forget what pair that was, let me go. Don't get too emotional. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. We'll start there. Then we'll look at the pound, Japanese yen. All right. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar. Is this an opportunity? So what's going on over here? Let me step back. Let me look at the 3-day for a moment. Oof. I don't like how this thing trades. I'm looking right now if it's coming down into any support, and it is. Is that an uptrend or a downtrend? I have to be honest. I cannot tell you whether or not if that's up or down. It looks like it's at the 50% level. I personally don't like it. You can see what I mean? We're really at the 50% level of all the data I have on the chart right now. I don't really, it's not really giving me an edge. What happens if I go more into a swing trader's time frame over here? Is that a downtrend? Where's the March low? You know, coming in, it's hard. I don't see it. You know, I don't see it. So when I don't see it, I step away. But I hope that, you know, that you're able to get a little bit of a read on yourself. And, you know, again, I'm just sharing what I'm seeing going on in the hopes that it helps you be able to see the market clearer and make better decisions yourself. All right. And the pound Japanese yen, and we'll get into a bunch of yen pairs as well right now. I want to see what's going on with our good friend, the Japanese yen. And this looks pretty bullish. You can see this whole area over here of supply. Oh, I don't know what I just did over there. Let me go back to my you see this whole area of supply. We're coming into it. It's hanging over our head. For me to get bullish on the pound Japanese yen, and you can see compared to other things, this is lagged, you know, ever since the lows. But you really got to clear. This is a big level up here. 140.73. That's a big level of resistance. It was a big level of support. We pierced through it. That's a big level. For me to be bullish, we're going to have to clear above that. So right now, I'm neutral. Am I looking to buy? We're in an uptrend since the low. Am I looking to buy off support over here? It's not the most attractive pair to me. Let's take a look at the other currencies versus the Japanese yen, and we'll see if anything else is just offering a little bit clearer picture. We'll start with the Australian dollar, Japanese yen. Now, we lost this trend line over here, right? We lost that trend line over there, but we have another one coming up down over here, right? And not only that, that's support. If we do trade down over to there, that is attractive to me, and I will be looking to go ahead and test the waters and buy. I'm not going to go ahead and get involved. We're kind of in no man's land for myself between this resistance and this support. We're kind of in no man's land. Is that like light local support? Yes. You're into some light. It's not attractive to me. I'd rather wait till something's really clear and then pick it up. Now, what happens if we break above that resistance? Then that also becomes attractive to me for sure. So I'm looking either for a break above that resistance, retest and resumption, or I'm looking for a test into this area over here. Let me actually draw up that trend line. Right? In this area in this area over here is when I would really, really start becoming attracted to it, or above there. But right now I'm on the sidelines. US dollar, Japanese yen. Let me check it out. So what's going on over here? Well, I'll tell you what. We are coming into resistance right now. We're being rejected by it. That's interesting for me. You're seeing the quote unquote dollar strength today, but the yen is weaker. The yen is stronger. That's a signal right there for you. Kips was actually talking about, look what's holding up well with that US dollar strength. Is this an opportunity to sell resistance over here? It really might be. It really might be. That's something to really think about and consider. Do you have a signal right now? You do. Let me continue doing my analysis, though, and see whether or not that remains to be attractive. We see lots of chatter about gold. Let's take a look over here. I'm not following. Gold seems to be holding so far. It looks good. It's unchanged on the day. That's with the dollar up, you know. Listen, don't be over leveraged. Small little price movements should not be affecting you. Small price movements should not be affecting you. Definitely. Let's check out what's going on here with the euro Japanese yen. This looks also uber bullish to me. I notice that looks like a bull flag to me, right? So watch and wait, right? A resumption off of there, that's an entry. Otherwise, you're looking down towards this area down over here. So do you all see what I'm seeing? That I'm noticing that we're in no man's land across the board right now on Japanese yen pairs, right? All right. What else? Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. So what did the market do over here, right? I don't know why I had this line over here. I want to check it out. Is that the best? I'm going to move that line up a little bit. Sorry for the pauses today. I don't really see it. I don't really see it. So I'll delete it. I don't really see it. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. So all I'm going to ask myself right now, out of all the currencies, is the Canadian dollar. By the way, if you're an investor and you're serious about this and you want to make a living in this, or you want to be able to produce over a reasonable period of time over the next 10, 15 years, right? A significant nest egg, yeah, then you better be able to admit a couple of things. First of all, when you're wrong. Second of all, when you make a mistake, and third, when you just don't know, right? Because if you think that you should know all the time, you're going to get demolished. I have no qualms whatsoever about admitting when I'm wrong or when I don't know and or changing my mind. If you don't have those attributes, walk away right now. You will never make it. Pound, Canadian dollar. What's going on? That looks like it's starting to resume off over here. Pound Canadian dollar actually looks a little bit interesting. I'm looking over here at following my mouse. I'm seeing that's an area of support. Let me just move this line up, make that a little bit easier for us, right? Here's the resistance, right? Resistance again, support, and then it's hanging out now as support. Is that attractive? Resuming up here for a buy signal. Yes, it is. Nice spot, Jason. Looks good to me. And let me just delete these to start cleaning up my charts over here. As we get really going in the first week of September, I'll really get really neat with that. But that looks interesting. And also, that looks like a pretty good you see that resistance over up here? Look at that 1, 2, 3, and then the 4 resistance level. That's where we held up last time, right? Since then, we've had a nice consolidation, retrace into support. That looks interesting. Boom. Yeah. We were looking at Palladium earlier, and it does look very interesting. It looks like it's getting ready as it's really consolidating here, getting ready to break out. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up over here. I'm watching, if you just joined us, I'm watching over here that consolidation that's happening, a break above this trend line over here and a resumption out. That's going to set off first. You're going to be looking for a retest of that last swing high, a break above there that really opens up. I think we're going to see, it's a matter of time. You don't want to be preemptive, but it looks like Palladium is getting set up to begin joining the party and to, after last year's massive move on Palladium, to go ahead now and reassert itself and do some catching up to the recent gains on gold and silver. Copper also very interesting right now. And to be honest, they both look more interesting right now than gold and silver, right? So you can't fall in love. You got to be able to rotate in and out. Yeah, and big ups to Kips, who's kept us definitely going on that. But now's the time. Also on copper, now it looks like the time also to be watching what's going on over here after this nice bull flag breakout over here, and more so what's going on fundamentally, what's going on in China. So that looks like something to watch right now as well. Silver, gold, what I'm watching is the dollar, and I'm going to go right back into FX. What I was watching was with the strong, quote unquote, strong, because it wasn't really a strong move on the dollar. But with that move on that small retrace on the dollar, gold and silver held their own really well, as did crypto. In the beginning of the chat, I can't scroll up that far. Kip's talked about pay attention to what is happening. Pay attention to what's happening with that stronger move in the dollar, which currencies held up well. Brent Johnson was debating Lynn. You showed on Twitter his trend line was wrong, but maybe he's right on the longer time frame. No, anyway. I'm not sure. Was he right or wrong? I don't know. I mean, I think he's dead wrong, right? I just looked at a video Brent posted recently on Real Vision talking about with Lynn. It was Lynn interviewing Brent Johnson and Brent Johnson interviewing Lynn together. And he was like, yeah, I think the DXY is range bound and it won't break 95. All right. That's a recent interview. And here we are. Right. So anyway, I don't want to, the last thing I want to do is this anyway. But we went into very clearly at the very, very beginning of this live stream, we were talking about the DXY. We were talking, and when I was looking at this, I don't really see this as well either. I stand by mine, and I think it's the one to watch. So, by the way, let me clarify for everyone so there's no confusion. I don't want any confusion in my community. So, Brent Johnson is talking in very, very, very broad strokes. He's not giving any type of time frame. What he believes is going to happen is that eventually the US dollar is going to break the system. When the dollar breaks the system, that's going to cause itself to implode on itself. And after that carnage happens, he believes that gold will obviously remain, right? So he's looking in the near term he doesn't have a term. In the future, he's looking for the dollar to really just be a wrecking ball to everything. I mean, he's talking about the dollar trading up, past 140, right? And really causing havoc, and that's maybe it plays out like that, right? There's a possibility that plays out like that. But what we're looking at right now is a weak dollar, right? If you all remember, and it was very clear, we got, right? I was super bullish on the dollar until we broke this channel over here, right? I was super bullish on the dollar until we broke right over here. And then I turned bearish on the dollar. There's no point in remaining a dollar bull when you have a big technical breakdown like that, right? And you all know I loved being a dollar bull, right? So, just go back to all the live streams. It was very clear, right? But once we broke, I don't have a thing about being right or wrong. I just want to be on the right side of the market. That's why I just follow the charts. So when we went to a weak dollar, even though I couldn't stand it, I went long on the euro. I had so many great trades this year, and some of them were on the euro US dollar, not the way I wanted it to go. You just got to follow what's on the charts. Why Brent did not get bearish on the dollar in the near term here, I have no idea. Because he's got his fund that he's talked. Anyway, it doesn't matter. BTC and a bull flag. We didn't get into Bitcoin yet this morning. Did we like looking at the FX pairs this morning? I do. Listen, it's very clear. Do not day trade. You're going to lose money. Do not day trade. If you want to make money, absolutely swing trade. Use the 8-hour time frame. It's really, really that simple. You do not day trade whatsoever. And if you want to day trade, then trade like the E-mini futures or something. You're probably going to get wrecked. You're trading versus algorithms that anyway, here we go. Yeah. And that's okay. But that's what's going on. I would have more respect. Anyway, I don't want to go there. I really want to find out who brought this trend line, this clone trend line to my attention. I'm going to do that. So far that's playing out beautifully. I'm glad we looked at that this morning. What's going on with the dollar, right? With the Bitcoin, By the way, Bitcoin should not be. Remember the Facebook? It used to be the Facebook, and then they renamed it to Facebook. Like Bitcoin should be renamed to the Bitcoin. It sounds much better. I like the Bitcoin. Here we are though. So I'm gonna just keep this really simple because it is really simple. This trend line over here, which you're all aware of, right? Those who've been following me, that was the start of the bull market. There you go, right? So now that we've broken and started the bull market, we've then made a leg up, and look at this beautiful consolidation that has taken place since. Notice too the slope of it. It is matching our trend lines. If anyone's interested to where these come from, I don't. That looks a little messy to me. It makes sense to me. I like clean charts. This is the prime trend line that I'm using here. Okay. I then cloned it for these other levels over here because they're as we come up, this is what we're gonna be using, right? And you could see so far we are consolidating really beautiful after that bull run start and leg up within that area. It's uber bullish. Uber bullish. Is that a bull flag? Bull flags for me have this, right? Bull flags have like a downward slope like that, So this is like a rising slope. So I wouldn't really call it a bull flag, but what it is a beautiful consolidation after a leg up, and it just looks super healthy to me. Bitcoin looks great. The 8-hour is the best time frame by far. That's why look at me. 8-hour time frame is the best time frame by far. By the way, if you're just starting out and you're here, I mean, that's fantastic. Really, this is really going to be beneficial to you. So but the best thing to do is just just hang out, observe, and learn. There's not the amount of people. When I was on vacation, I met a couple of people involved in the group, and just to sit and talk and hear the difference that it's made. One of them was trading for an options for 7 years, is involved in the course and is using the strategy taught in the course for the option trading. Really helped enormously. And hearing the difference that I don't think I have any idea how many people that this community is really reaching and helping. And then I get a glimpse of that through all the comments. And just don't be in a rush. If you have questions, that's awesome. Don't be in a rush. You're in a really good place. Just think of this as investing some time into your own education. Day trading is buying and selling, not a time of day. Blah, 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 blah. No, I don't think that's a wedge pattern. I think it's super bullish. Thank you, Harry. Brandon, thanks. I try not to. I just want to be able to share our analysis here. I'm not trying to, but yeah, it's the best thing since sliced bread. No. Thanks, Brandon. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that very much. It is, the amount of people, 3 to 5 weeks, almost everyone is here really quickly, right? And then the amount of people who are coming, to almost 3 months of a 1% return is consistently profitable. The amount of traders here is way higher than I expected. From there, right? What do? We start risking. We double our risk up to 1%. You're automatically at the ultimate goal, 2 to 3% per month, right? And from here, this is when traders really have learned what they need to do. That's 24 to 36% per year. That's insane, right? So, Yeah, day trading is absolutely not the best option. It's the worst option. You know, don't make any decisions. You're here, right? This is absolutely the single best place on the internet to learn any type of trading education. Just sit back and just observe for a couple of weeks, and you'll know. Yeah, so the format of the course, by the way, the format of the course is uber successful now, and it's designed in such a way that it really, over a very relatively short amount of time, over that first month, gets people completely on track. It's in the second month, really, when they're starting to hit that consistently profitable. It's done in a set of modules. We do live training sessions every Tuesday, and then it's not one-on-one as it is in a group format. There is your weekly recaps that you are working with me. That's more of that individual attention. And all I could say, the success of the students speaks for itself. I know how incredibly difficult trading is. I taught myself everything. I don't think I wouldn't wish that journey on anyone, because at points it was very dark and lonely. And just by the grace of God was I able to get through the other side. There's, if you're interested in actually in doing this, I'm glad you're here with us. All right. Gold's unchanged on the day. Gold's unchanged on the day. Silver's up 2%. Everything is kind of muted on the day, right? We're not really seeing any big moves whatsoever, right? Everything looks pretty good. We have 750 people in here. Oh my goodness, that's amazing. I'm so glad each and every one of you are here. Yeah. Trade less, make more. How simple. So this is a beautiful comment, by the way, because the truth is trading is so complicated and so difficult, and there's no question that we is really simplified. Not that it's simple, but it's going to seem simple to you, right? If anyone has had that experience, we're working through the course and with me and through the live streams, all of a sudden it seems a lot less complicated and simpler. That's awesome. That's the whole point, right? So there we go. That's right. That's right. Thank you. So glad to be back over here. Yeah, I mean, all those details are shared in the course itself. It costs next to nothing for the value. This looks awesome over here. I'm not interested in any buying any S&Ps over here because before I get interested, I really want to see a pullback. This is not a pullback. And you know what? I mean, and we took where was our area to take a profit? I think it was somewhere over here. Here's when it no longer made sense to be involved in the S&P. We're still right back right there. I am bullish on equities, but right now the risk to reward is not there. The best trade right now, in my opinion, is by far on Bitcoin, right? And then I just use FX over here, and I'm still watching for an entry right here on the Euro US dollar. A long entry if we were able to hold and resume off over there. I like Jason bought up the pound Canadian dollar. It does look very, very interesting over here. I don't trade palladium or copper, but I like the setups for those that are interested. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, no. And over here, we were watching the US dollar, Japanese yen over here to see if this is rejected over there. So, Rich, thanks for taking the time to share that. I appreciate that. Tried several courses, made money, sometimes didn't. Net result lost with Jordan. I'm making money. That's like, for me, that's everything. I know how hard it is. Like if you give me 10 people and they were just starting trading or been trading for a while and ask whether they were going to make money, I would bet against all 10 people. If you had those same people take the course, I would right now say 5 of those will be consistently profitable. That is that I understand the value of that, but that's all. There you go. There's no guessing involved. That's good. Anyway, no, I'm not. I'm watching the euro US dollar. It hasn't given a trigger. Um, yes, yes. But listen, I'm going to encourage you before you. Here's the thing that I'm so sorry. I don't really want to be talking. Anyway, here's where we are. You got to follow the flow, right? You got to follow the spirit. So the course is designed to teach the structure of the market. The structure for any market's the same. It's following price off of support and resistance with the help of trend lines and chart patterns in that order. The most important thing is support and resistance. The most important thing is price alone, how it trades off support and resistance with the help of trend lines and chart patterns. Trend lines more important than chart patterns. It's applicable to every single market. Now, I think the Forex market is the best and easiest market to trade for many reasons. I go over those in the course. Whether or not you're interested in the Forex market, that's one thing. But if you're interested in learning how to trade, then work with me in the format that I've designed that's successful. And, even you should be demoing on the FX market. Once you learn the structure of the market, could you then go trade equities? 100%. Like Rich said, you'll then understand and know what you're doing. That's all. That's right. So one of the things that I'm most interested in is when the economy returns to growth. Kips is talking about copper is known as a bellwether for the state of the global economy, right? And it is almost fake if the stimulus is coming from infrastructure projects, but there's the real demand for the metal. What I'm interested and in the US, not globally, is when growth returns, because when growth returns, that's when I'm going to be cautious of what I'm going to be doing long term on the metals, on gold and silver, right? I am watching the expansion of the global monetary supply and believe that right now gold and silver is really tracking and trading off of that. And if that increases, then I'm looking for much higher prices on the metals. At the same time, and I don't even have any idea, it's not going to be in 2020, 2022. When will growth return? 2023. When growth really returns, that's when I think that we're going to see the highs in silver and gold. But I don't think that's anywhere on the horizon. Nevertheless, we're living in really weird times, and maybe it happens a lot sooner. So that's the risk that I'm watching out for. And if anyone can help with that, please do. That's the risk for the metals, in my opinion, is when growth returns. Bennett. And so anyway, you got to follow the program. Nice, Danielle. Really welcome. I'm really glad to hear that. We haven't looked at the euro Australian dollar, and I do look forward really to working with you. That this is a really important comment over here. No need for equities. There's plenty of Forex trades. There's so much more opportunity, and it's so much cleaner and easier in Forex. I know many from the US were just accustomed to trading the public markets, right? But they're very small. They're very small. That's awesome, Danielle. I'm really looking forward to really helping you, get to that next level. And again, for that next level to you is going to be getting you here, right? Over the next 3 to 5. September's coming up. September, October, November. There's going to be fantastic months from trading. Now's the time to get you prepared. You're in the perfect time, Danielle. The perfect time, right? So here we go. All right. By the way, euro, Australian dollar. I don't like messy charts. I really believe that your brain processes so many things that you're unaware of, and the cleaner your charts are, it just helps you think more clear, right? I'm not any type of psychologist. That's not proven. That's just my opinion. But I really believe that having a clean charts really helps you clear. So we're coming into some pretty strong resistance. Could you see that over here? Let me move this down. Do you see that resistance that we're coming into? Support, resistance. we are in a downtrend over here ever since. Look, that was in a crazy move. That was in one day. Right? That was crazy. But have been in a downtrend. What happens if we break above this resistance level over here, which even over here, resistance, support, it's a big level. Above it, do we become buyers over there? Note, so this trend line, by the way, this is hindsight. It's always easier in hindsight, but by reviewing trades, it really helps you going forward. Watch, this is the last trade I took on that right over there, and it didn't work out on that break of that trend line. Here we broke the trend line, right? And then we retested it and since have come up. Is that really the trend change right there? I don't know, but if we break above this resistance over here, that opens up an opportunity. That's a big level, and that opens up a pretty good trade. So what about shorting over here? Should you be looking to short this as you are in a downtrend and you're now into resistance, and we short off resistance and downtrends? Maybe that's a pretty strong level. That's a pretty strong level. So a lot going on over there on the Euro Australian dollar. A lot going on. Let me clean this up. I feel like it's back in play now. So now I want to watch it. All right. Yeah, the choice gives for sure. David, so happy to see you here this morning. Thank you for joining us. Ooh, that's some seriously good insight over there. I'm not a fan of the equity markets. Right now, my only investment inside the public markets is in GBTC. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's 100% correct. That's right. That's right. There you go. That's a good recommendation right there. Awanda, amazing platform. It connects directly. It connects directly. Chris, right there, Awanda connects directly to TradingView. No matter the size of your account, you could use perfect money management. So anyone asking is a good time. There's never anyone asking when's a good time to buy. My nephew, you guys understand my whole thesis on Bitcoin over this bull market phase. He asked me, should he buy Bitcoin? I told him, no, you should never buy anything that you don't understand why you're buying it and understand the investment. And you should never be asking anyone if you should buy or sell, because if you're doing that, you're never going to make money. You're going to wind up losing money. You have to understand why. And if you don't understand if it now is a good time, that is a very important place to be. That's a great place to be. And that only means that you just need to spend more time investing in your education. And you're here right now, and that's a great place to be in doing that, right? Brad, good to see you here this morning. That's awesome. Thanks for doing that. We so much enjoyed. It was so good. The sake you gifted us. So grateful for that. Appreciate that, brother. So I just want to say thank you. That was really thoughtful. It was only one time in a live stream that I mentioned how much I love sake, and that's why it was so thoughtful. That's excellent feedback. By the way, I've never asked. I'm going to ask right now because obviously a lot of you, if anyone is here right now, and by the way, Brad built the website. After taking the course, he built the website on his own. And I'm grateful for that, Brad, for sure. If anyone is anyone taking the course and hasn't left a review and you are profitable, please go ahead and do that. It's the first and only time I'm asking. So I'll just include that link right there for you all. And Brad, by the way, and I'll talk about that personally with you. Yeah, I mean, you could follow Bitcoin on a log scale, but generally speaking, you shouldn't be using log scale. This is TradingView, the platform I'm using, TradingView, and is fantastic. What's the ideal amount of Bitcoin? I mean, that's a great question. And it depends on so many different factors, including your overall net worth, how old you are, how it's not there's not a black and white answer to that, right? The ideal amount of Bitcoin, but rather than a number of Bitcoin, it should be a percentage of your overall portfolio. My mom, who's 81 years old, she should own 1% Bitcoin. Most wealthy, high net wealthy individuals, they're eventually going to wind up owning between 1% and 3%. And that's a pretty good number right there. If my nephew, right, who's 18 years old, who owns a bunch of Apple and Tesla, which is great. At the same time, he should probably be own a very large proportion of Bitcoin, and he doesn't. He doesn't understand it. So I told him, not until you understand it, do not invest in it. It depends on really there's many different factors. All the Bitcoins. That's the best answer. I want all the Bitcoins. Thanks, Brad. I really appreciate it. Brad, since you're here and listening, what I really want to do, and I don't know if you or Danny should do it, but I want to get like a 4 second or maybe even 7 second just a video of your web development company that I could include in a couple of videos a week in the afternoon, because I appreciate on your own you go ahead and developing the website. It's a really great asset to everyone, and I want to be able to share that love. So I want to do like just a little segment that I could include in videos for all those who are looking. Jengar. Yeah, there's a William. I will lead everybody through when I'm exiting Bitcoin. There's no question about it. I will leave no man behind. But no, that's more going to be no. There's no way I will sell Bitcoin at 20 or 50K. Will I sell some at 100K? I don't think so. Will I sell at some at 140K? Yep. That's my target, but that's going to be more time based and then price action based. I don't. These things could get really emotional and overshoot themselves. So I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised if the model breaks to the upside, especially with what's going on over here in the world. Yeah, you're just the first person who said anything like that. So take a moment here, not while on the live stream, and then you'll figure it out. That's right. So Ethereum, by the way, let's talk about Ethereum, which when I started investing into Ethereum, I let everyone know, right? This is when I first started buying into Ethereum. I added over here, and then again over here, and then again over here. So Ethereum right now, it looks like there's not too much in the way of 500. 500 is the next level that we're looking at on Ethereum, and I don't think it's a big level, but I think it's a matter of time before we're trading up at 500. And then I do think from there, once it breaks, and I do think it breaks 500 eventually, we're looking at like 800, right? Those are some levels to watch on Ethereum. So you're looking at, right, a 1x on Ethereum that's, in the cards for sure. When and if we break 800, I think if I'm still holding and we reach 1200, then I'm probably all out of Ethereum. I don't know if I'll be holding that. I don't think I'll be holding that long, actually. And the reason is because I don't believe in it. And I don't believe in Ethereum. The founders don't believe in Ethereum, right? We looked at over here. Let me see over here. I played this for you yesterday, just really quick. It's important. Oh, 1 second.
Rebuilding
Sure.
it as
It
something
scales-
scalable
it
was
scales
in the
somewhat.
initial plans or initial
Yeah, we
thinking.
never build on top of that. Turns out we can build a financial
You're
plumbing
saying
layer.
that the concept of launching something that doesn't scale and then rebuilding
Sure.
it as
It
something
scales-
scalable
it
was
scales
in the
somewhat.
initial plans or initial
Yeah, we
thinking.
knew it wasn't going to be scalable for sure.
So these guys launched they launched Ethereum knowing it couldn't scale, and it still can't scale. And Ethereum 2.0 is supposed to fix all that. Only I don't think it's going to fix all that. I don't think it's going to work out in the end. Right now, this is a pure speculative play for me. Right? It's a pure Bitcoin's proven technology. Ethereum's speculative. Because it's speculative, could it really actually outperform? Yes. Yes, I think in over these next 6 months, Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin. If you don't think Ethereum is speculative, they've been trying to upgrade it and been pushing back the date of upgrading for the last 2 years now. And we'll see what happens, right? But I don't believe in it. It's a speculative play. 3 weeks ago, I posted a video about my allocation to it, which is less than 1% of my overall portfolio because it's speculative, and I'll be getting out early. I'll let you know when I get out. I don't believe in it. I believe in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's proven technology. Yeah, there's no supply on Ethereum. That's correct. Pound, New Zealand dollar. Let's take a look at it, everybody. Oh. I missed the boat. How about that? This looks ugly. I don't like looking at this chart because my lines are all out of date over here. It's been a while since I checked that out. Look at that long channel, the breakout, the breakout, the retest, and then off to the races. Listen, if you're not in this trade, it's too long. It's too late to get involved now, right? You don't chase after that move. I'm going to go back, clean up these charts, make it pretty. That's what I'll do next week while I'm away. I'm going to clean up these charts because I've been avoiding these past 6 weeks, 7 weeks, all the cross pairs. I've been making my money against the Japanese yen and US dollar, but I will get back to them. Yeah, Bitcoin's going to drop again. There's some amazing, Thomas, go to the playlist, the Bitcoin playlist on the channel. There's some of my best videos because I'm well researched and presented on Bitcoin and the 4-year halving cycle. For sure, Bitcoin is going to come off 80 to 90% off its highs after this bull market phase. There's no question about it. You got to have them pretty. You got to have them pretty. You got to have them clean. No question about it. What's going on over here? The dollar so far being rejected by that resistance here that we put in this morning. That's a reminder to myself to get back. Gold and silver hanging in there, looking good. Silver does look better than gold, obviously, but gold trading at 1930. It's pretty good. That's it. Everything looks pretty solid over here. Does anyone have any questions they want to talk about over here? Because we got a good feel of the markets. I feel like that's my job, to keep everyone on the right side of the market, right? That's awesome. We will. That's for sure. We will. That's yep. As we position everyone out of the bull market over here, for sure. Yeah, if your broker doesn't do Bitcoin, I recommend, there's a link in the description, BlockFi, BlockFi.com. And it's the easiest experience I've ever had buying Bitcoin. And they pay you 6% interest yearly on the Bitcoin you're holding. Pretty good deal. So I highly recommend that over GBTC. If you're stuck inside the equity markets, right, then GBTC is a play. So this is a good question that I think is really important to talk about. Any concern that the Chinese crypto, the Chinese are digitizing the yuan, they're way ahead of the US on this. So again, when you talk about the digitized yuan and or eventually dollar, there is, first of all, it's centralized. Bitcoin is decentralized. Bitcoin has a limit of 21 million Bitcoins, and there's no limit, and that supply of the yuan or dollar digitally could be increased with the click of a button. Alt P print. So they're not competitors whatsoever. They're basically just better on ramps. Danielle, so not my thing, and I can't talk about anything that I do not know, so I will not. Over here, I again, if you're not following on the Twitter and you're interested in what I'm interested in, this was on a day like today. It's important to remember the level of opportunity still ahead. Talking about the miners here, miners are about to become the new growth stocks of the investment cycle, right? Let me go ahead and include that tweet for you. But it's not my thing. I can only talk about and add to the conversation about what I know, right? So, I mean, this is great from the there's no way Bitcoin to be the global currency. Transactions are slow and consume enormous amounts of energy right now. Imagine how much it would be. So, all right, let's talk about that. First of all, Bitcoin is not, the US dollar is the global reserve currency. And I don't see anything overtaking the dollar anytime soon. Most assuredly Bitcoin, right? If you were to go back, 3 years ago, the chance of Bitcoin becoming the global reserve currency was maybe at best 1%. You had like a 1% chance that would happen. Today, what is it? At most 3%, right? Bitcoin doesn't need to become the global reserve currency. Bitcoin needs to take a portion of that, right? What type of portion, right? Well, eventually it's going to overtake, in my opinion, gold's market cap. By the way, I was tweeting. This is really, really interesting. My nephew was talking to me yesterday about Bitcoin, and he was, I have to share with you what he wrote. He's like, I've been hearing a lot of good things about Bitcoin, and I think it potentially has extremely good upside with the shrinkage of the purchasing power. He's 18 of the dollar and the potential to mine gold in outer space. So, like, first of all, I didn't know that was a thing, that you could mine gold in outer space, or it will be one day. And the Winklevosses are absolutely geniuses, because when I saw this,
we're like buddies.
When I saw them talking about mining, that Elon Musk is going to go mine the gold in outer space, I thought that was like retarded. But then when I realized it was genius, because they got the whole young generation to discount gold and go for Bitcoin with that one clip. Genius, right? So we were talking about whether or not Bitcoin is going to overtake, become the global reserve currency. That's not the point of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is an alternative, right? I'm looking at Bitcoin becoming a multi-trillion-dollar market cap. Throughout this bull market cycle, I think it'll take $1 trillion or more market cap. It almost did during the last bull market cycle, right? But it's going to be not this next halving, maybe the halving after that. Fast forward 8 years from now when it overtakes gold market cap. And gold just has a portion of the overall global supply. Whoa. Oh my God. You're in a car accident and have a 95% not to sit in a chair the rest of my life. So sorry to hear about that. And listen, rest assured that you will be from the heart in my prayers. Really, really, really. I pray for the sick every day, and by name I'll be praying for you. I'm sorry to hear that, and I wish you a really speedy recovery. It's so. By the way, Derek. So what my point about that, and it's really important to understand. Mark Cuban just purchased 50% of an Instagram meme account, right? The reason being because memes is what creates the narrative. Whether or not, and I don't believe that in my lifetime they'll be mining gold on asteroids. Whether or not it's possible is irrelevant. It's just the fact that it was planted in all the minds of all these kids aged, right? Between whatever you want to call it. Call it between the ages of 15 and 25 or 30, whatever it is. It was planted in their minds that that's a possibility. And whether or not it's true, they believe it. And they're not going to choose gold. They're going to choose what they know, which is digital. And they're going to choose Bitcoin. All right? That's what matters. That would be awesome. I would be awesome. My goal was when I started the channel in late October, early November, was to get 50,000 subs in a year. We might be able to do that. So that's pretty impressive. And my wife was like, you should do what's important to me is not the quantity, it's the quality. And I think that we have the best quality of community there is. That's what's important to me. That's right. I hope you recovered too. Absolutely. What a great attitude you have, brother. What a great attitude you have. So there's another thing to really remember, that Bitcoin is the most attacked piece of software on the planet and the most secure. It's never been hacked. It's impossible to be hacked, and it's the most secure, decentralized piece of software on the planet. Yep. Trade with perfect money management. Owanda gives you an amazing ability to do that. If you're the best advice I could give anyone trading a small account is trade it the same way you would a large account. If you don't, you're going to lose that small account. And if you do, you're going to learn how to grow that account. And then through time and through additional deposits, you'll be on your way to creating wealth. That's the best advice for someone beginning with a small account. Wow. Wow. That's right. Everyone, please keep Enrico in your prayers, please. So what's a bigger risk for Bitcoin is not it being hacked, is that there's a bug in the software. That's a bigger risk for Bitcoin. It's software. There could easily, by the way, it was just recently, a couple of years ago, that the Bitcoin Cash, that the Bcash developers found a bug, an inflation bug inside the Bitcoin core software, and let everyone know. There's the absolute possibility that there's a bug in the software. That's probably a bigger risk to Bitcoin. Yeah, Steve, I would love to be able to interview at some point other people within the space. I love I love it, and I hope at some point in the future, maybe maybe another year from now, we could really do that. But my interest is not in growing the channel as much as it is in nurturing the community that we have here today. I'm really not interested in growing the channel so much as I am in really just nurturing what we have. So there's what's this guy's name? Who knows? This guy used to be a really good Bitcoin advocate. He's a really good educator. He's given lots of talks on Bitcoin. He's pretty famous. If you search or if you Google and YouTube quantum computing Bitcoin, it'll probably come up first. He's but the answer is no, because the technology to defend that attack will be there as well. I believe that Bitcoin will overtake the market cap of gold one day. I don't believe that will be a safe bet. Would be 9 years from now. Is it possible it happens 5 years from now? It's possible. A safe bet would be 9 years from now. But yeah, the thing about gold is it's really hard to move around. You're trusting a third party, and you could just get into the other aspect that if you look at the youth today. When I say youth, I mean even up to millennials. Like they're more accustomed to digital products, and they don't have. For sure, I feel very confident that Bitcoin eventually will overtake gold's market cap. I don't think it's happening anytime soon. That's right. What a great spirit. What a great spirit. And that's a great advice too. That's right, everyone. Just remember, sincerely keep him in your prayers. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. It's hard. Listen, if you're trading a $2,500 account, there's no question the best investment you can make is the course. Do that. Let me help you through all of this, and let me get you going in a confident, knowing what you're doing. Just not Roger Ver. Be prepared. He wrote a book. There's like a mosquito on the cover. Be prepared for 30% pullbacks at any point in Bitcoin during the bull market. There's going to be several of them. Governments, so that's one of the most interesting things, is that no government has been able to take down Bitcoin or prevent it. And now it's to the point where they are unable to. The only thing they could do would be to make on-ramps illegal, right? They can make, for example, Gemini, Coinbase inside the United States, BlockFi illegal for people to use. But that would not destroy or inhibit Bitcoin. It would probably make it stronger. Oh, and then going back to energy, so the thing, mining in Bitcoin is uber competitive. And what the only ones that survive are those that have the best technology, the best miners, and the lowest cost of energy. That's all going towards renewable energy, geothermal energy. Bitcoin mining is actually a super great thing. So if the U.S. government had a quantum computer, all of that energy would be going towards getting the nuclear codes of every other government in the world. They're not going to be interested in trying to break private keys of Bitcoin. But again, I wish I knew his name. He's very famous. Maybe tomorrow I'll have that video for you on quantum computing. He gives an excellent explanation, and he's definitely the one to go to. I think right now, today, there are countries who are building positions up in Bitcoin, right? So we just had MicroStrategy, a public company, announce that they've taken a $250 million position on their balance sheet in Bitcoin. By the way, there are many pension funds, including the Teachers Pension Fund in California and who are invested in that. So now you have a bunch of pension funds invested in Bitcoin. Yeah, there will eventually be countries that announce their position in Bitcoin. Probably it'll be something like someone like Iran, Russia, China, or North Korea, who are the first to announce it. No, Bitcoin does not reach 40K by the end of the year. Does inflation help draw? So, two good questions. Bitcoin will not reach 40,000 by the end of the year. It's possible it makes a new all-time high by the end of the year, but I don't think so. I think it's trading somewhere around 17,000 by the end of the year. Now, the second question, does inflation help drive the price up? Of course it will. Paul Tudor Jones, legend, one of the greatest legends of our time in investing. Paul Tudor Jones has invested his fund into Bitcoin, and he believes in inflation. So I don't know if we go through it deflation or inflation. I know that QE is deflationary, but what we're going to start seeing is a lot more government stimulus that might actually provide the inflation. We could go either way. I don't know which way we're going. Bitcoin and gold are going to perform in both environments well. Paul Tudor Jones, he believes that we're going into an inflationary environment, and he believes that Bitcoin will be the fastest horse in that race, perform the best. Yeah. See, Brandon would have a lot more insight than I would. Spent a lot of time researching quantum computing, and there are gonna be many encryption schemes at risk. So they will have to be large scale upgrades. And that's the, I mean, you have some of the smartest people in the world working on Bitcoin. So I believe me, they're all over it. Don't believe me. Follow they talk about it all the time. Follow Adam Black on Twitter. I mean, you can't put a price on the value, but there's a link below, Ferdinand, in the description. Trade with me, and you can find out all the details over there, what works best for you. That's right. Love that positivity. So the question, Jason, is there any active management of Bitcoin that could fix bugs, or is it completely cut off from developers at this point? So all of the work on Bitcoin, it's like people say Bitcoin is too slow. That's the whole point of it. That's the whole point of it. It doesn't need to be fast. The second layer is Lightning is super fast. It doesn't need to be fast. Bitcoin is going to be a settlement layer. It's going to be used just like, just same way that when you're using email, you have no idea the process that works. You just clicked, compose and send. That's basically how Bitcoin is going to work for the majority of the users. They're going to have no idea they're even using it. But the development process for Bitcoin is very thorough. It's checked, and updates are very, very, very slow. They make sure they don't want any mistakes. Rex, go to the module right now on support and resistance, and you're gonna find a lengthy plan there. That's exactly what you need to follow, and that's exactly where you should be focused. Yeah. Tag me in it. I'll take a look at it later after the stream. Yeah, Square is public company, 100% behind Bitcoin. So, Lawrence, in yesterday's video, at the very beginning of the video, about 15 seconds into the video, maybe 30 seconds into the video, the next 3.5 minutes are talking about the Fed's meeting minutes yesterday. I don't really, there's not really much. There's really a non-event. Yes, thank you, Tony. If anyone searches Andreas Antonopoulos quantum computing, he's going to give the most articulate answer. And he's the person that I would recommend anyone when it came to this to hear what he has to say. Thank you for that, Tony. What levels are we looking at Bitcoin to hold? Bitcoin is, here's the chart at Bitcoin. Let me go to a 3-day, right? So, I mean, so by the way, now that we've spent all this time accumulating and looking at Bitcoin, these are my last entries on Bitcoin. Boom, boom, boom. Right now, I'm holding Bitcoin, and I'm not looking to add any more positions to Bitcoin. If I didn't own Bitcoin, I would buy right now at market, and then the first 30% pullback we had, I would buy as much as I can again. Right now, what I'm looking to happen on Bitcoin is the next time that I will take a position on Bitcoin, because I'm fully positioned into Bitcoin. After we break 14,000, come in and test 14,000 and or break it. From that point on, whether we go to 15, 16, 17, the first 30% pullback we have on Bitcoin, everyone's going to be freaking out. Bitcoin's going back down to 6,000. Bitcoin's going to 1,000. And I'm going to be in there and I'm going to be like, guys, I'm stepping in, I'm buying Bitcoin. My mind is already I don't need to have a chart of that I already know it. So that's going to be the next time I buy Bitcoin, is on the next 30% pullback after we test 14,000. But right now, as far as like on a swing trader's time frame over here, right? So you see this. I don't like all these lines I have here, but they're so important for me. As long as we're holding this line over here, which is coming in right now at 11,000, if we tested that, I would be buying a resumption off of that if I was a swing trader, right? Right now, I would be looking for us to break this trend line up here, right? And then if we held that, a resumption off that. But I'm not swing trading on Bitcoin. I swing trade on FX. It's a better market. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that. What happens as the bull market is. I don't know the answer to that. It's probably going to be, or it's possibly going to be, to get into some growth stocks within equities. I don't have the answer to that right now. And that's a long time in the future. I think the bull markets and precious metals are just beginning here. I think we got a while to go. And I don't know when I exit out of Bitcoin, that's a large percentage of my portfolio, where that money is going yet. We'll figure it out then. It is. It's very true, Brandon. It looks good, and it's consolidating and holding well. So it depends on. It really depends. I mean, there's no question ECM Pro. There's no question about that. But for the majority of people, Oanda FX Trade is the better option, and probably is for you. Oh, that's not good. That's not good, right? You want to bring in industry, not push it away. It's a very interesting point. You got low cost of electricity up there, but they want to. I think the miners are going to Texas. I think that, and miners are moving east to west, but I believe that Texas is going to be a hotbed in the future for Bitcoin mining. I have no idea. In my opinion, we've come pretty hard, pretty high, pretty fast, especially on silver here, right? So the fact that we're consolidating right now, I'm happy with that. Juan, listen, I really honestly believe that you're going to find a lot. Listen, all right, here, this is a great question that Juan is asking. Why wouldn't you sell at 14, since you expect the pullback? Well, I don't know when that pullback is going to come, first of all. But what I do know for the majority of traders, that let's say someone sold at 14,000, and then let's say that Bitcoin goes up to 16,000. You're going to have a lot of people buying back at 16,000, thinking that Bitcoin's going to break new all-time highs and go to 30,000. They're going to buy in at 16,000 after selling at 14. Then that pullback's going to come, and then they're going to sell, and you're just going to get wrecked. The opportunity here on Bitcoin is to play the cycle, accumulate Bitcoin. Think like an investor, not a trader. Don't get caught off on the wrong side of the market. Now that we've entered the bull market, my plan has changed to the only time I'm looking to re-add is going to be on those 30% pullbacks. That's my plan. I'm sticking to my plan. I spent literally years, a couple of years working it out. So I'm sticking to my plan. I don't have one. I do not even have one. My plan for gold and silver is to pass on my physical gold and silver to the next generation after me. I don't ever plan on selling it. For this bull market, I don't have any type of targets. Do I think gold's going to 3,000? Yep, I do. That's right. I mean, this is don't sell your own Bitcoin, just sell it. I make my money swing trading on FX. I don't know. I don't know how long it takes for gold and silver to test their swing highs. I have no idea. No, I don't trade Bitcoin. I don't trade any options. I never traded an option in my life. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised at all, Harry, if gold went towards 5,000. It makes no sense to get into Bitcoin mining. It's much better to buy the spot. Well, I mean, David, so David, let me talk about that really quick, just to give you my view, and take with that what you would. You have Bitcoin at some really good prices, 65 and 9,000, right? You're saying if it falls below 10,500, you might think of getting out, taking some profits. There's a gap here on the CME that could get filled. Oh, what am I doing? That could get filled. Let me show you. You got a gap down over here at, let's call it 9,900, right? Going down to 9,650. Is it possible that gap gets filled? It's possible. I don't think it happens, but it is possible. And not only if that happened, all that means is that we would just be going here and testing. Let me just draw that out. We would just be testing that breakout, which we had to pull back into the support, but we never came back and tested. Is it possible? Yeah. At any time, you could have a 30% pullback on Bitcoin, and that would be normal, right? So, here's my trend line down here. Is it possible we come in and test my trend line down here at 9,000? Yep. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it did, I wouldn't be surprised. You got some really great entries on Bitcoin. You got some really nice entries on Bitcoin. I would just recommend, if you haven't seen them already, look at the first 4 videos on the Bitcoin playlist on the channel. I think they're amazing. I think it'll be really helpful. No, you're the inspiration, brother. You're the inspiration. I'm so sorry. So sorry you're in the hospital right now. I really pray for a full recovery. And thanks for always being such an active participant here in this community. Yeah, trading and investing. All right, everyone. I'm going to kiss the kids. Did we have a 2-hour session today? Almost 2 hours. I love it so much. What a pleasure to be with y'all. And listen, I hope you all have a beautiful day. I don't know. Should we do an update video in the afternoon today? Yesterday was really good. It was really appropriate. Yeah, we'll do an update. Should we? Thank you. Thank you, Danielle. I want to get some music going on over here. Thanks, Jesse. I liked going over the FX today. Yeah, it is. You too, Westfall. Have a great day. Everyone have a beautiful, beautiful day. Great to see you, Andreas. What a pleasure to be back with you all. Jesse, you're the best. Yeah, Bitcoin and gold on the bid. Oh, that's beautiful. Nice purchase. In the States, APMX is a good, great one. Awesome, Dave. Glad to have you with us. Looking forward to working with you. Everyone have a beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you, Gene. Thank you. Yeah, I'm grateful for all of you. Thank you. You guys are all great. I love this community. May God bless you too. Awesome, Rex. Thank you. Thanks for being here with us. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you're here with us all the time. Lawrence, greetings, Javier. Awesome, like to hear that. De nada, mucho gusto. Thank you for that comment. Thanks for making my day. I appreciate that. It's just the more you give, the more you receive. Thank you all for giving so much to me. I am grateful. All right, everyone. I'll talk to you later and see you tomorrow.